my name's Kyle Walgren, and this is our first episode of the podcast, Our Texas Town. I've got the founders and owners of Mustang Roofing and Construction, the Nixon family. We've got Zane, Taylor, Travis, Keely, who's not here, but she's in the office holding it together. Yeah. And these guys are in the roofing and construction business. They've been in business for over 42 years. Zane, guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
So I recently put a roof on my place. I didn't know I needed to. I was getting insurance work done on my cars. Had the adjuster came out and they told me that I needed to replace my roof, unannounced to me or my knowledge about it. I'm sure this is something you guys handle every day. What are things that you guys do to help people navigate through the insurance claim? But how can you help them identify that they need to do it?
Well, the best way is if you know that you've had 3/4 inch hail or larger, is to call a roofing company and come do an inspection. Because the most dangerous leak that you can have is the leak that you don't know you have. And whenever hailstones strike shingle roofs, they can introduce dozens and dozens of very small areas for water to get into the decking. And it's not enough of a leak for it to ever come through and show it through the drywall and for you to see it and know that there's a problem. So it just sits up there and keeps your decking wet every time it rains. So you don't know about it until one year you're up there putting up Christmas lights and you wind up in the living room. So that's the best advice I can give is if you know that you've had quarter size marble, quarter size, normal size hail at least, call for an inspection. It'll save you a lot of heartache.
Now, when you guys do an inspection, is this something you guys come out and do for free? Do you charge for an inspection? What's an inspection look like?
Yeah, it's completely free.
It's free. And when you're going through, the insurance, people stay away from insurance usually because it's going to turn into a big mess. How do you guys participate in walking people through that whole process?
Well, these two guys have been to school for it. Okay. And I've just learned it through the years, but kind of talk about what you learned.
So basically what we do whenever we get started with somebody that calls in, they say that, we've had a hail damage, can you come out and take a look? We'll come out and do the inspection. If we find sufficient damage. At that point, we will take and hold your hand all the way through the process, A to Z, making it to where it's not a big deal for the homeowner. We handle that for you. We'll set up the appointments. We'll meet with the adjusters. We do all the dirty work for you. That way it's not a hassle like everybody thinks it is.
So one of the questions that pops off to my mind is, you will let them know if there's significant damage to do it.
Correct.
You guys are in the business of putting shingles on roof. What's significant damage? Because the homeowners, their insurance is going to go up. That's the reality.
Right. No, it's not the reality.
No?
No. If it's what they call a
act
of God, the insurance by law cannot raise your premium.
They have to raise the premium on the
entire state.
They can't raise it just on you just for filing a claim.
No, that's that's number that people think, but it's just not the truth.
Oh wow!
And what we really can bring a lot of expertise in is getting you paid what you're supposed to be paid, because people need to understand that when the insurance adjuster comes to your home, he's there for the insurance company. And if you don't have someone that knows the game and knows insurance and what insurance have to do and what they don't have to do, if you don't have someone there on that level to represent you, it's like going to court without a lawyer. Because I guarantee you that adjuster is there for his company and not there for you. So I can't tell. Well, I can't think of any roofs that we've taken as far as from working an insurance claim to where they've already been given a check that we weren't going back and making supplementals that you didn't get this. And you'll never get that if you don't have someone there representing your side of the deal, because it is a deal. It's a negotiation whenever you start. Insurance companies want you to believe that there is no negotiating. What they say goes. whatever check they write you is what you just have to settle for. And it's just literally not the truth.
Well, I would have thought different, so I've learned something already. You guys have been in business for 42 years. Well, you two don't look 42 years old.
Yeah.
So
That started largely on him.
Uh,
what was it like, when you started this? What got you into being an entrepreneur? Why did you break off on your own?
I'll tell you, I always had the mindset from young that if I'm doing something to earn money, and I do twice as much as you, twice as fast, then I want to make more money than you. And when you go to work for someone else and you're paid a salary or you're paid by the hour, I might be doing 5 times the work that you do and doing it 10 times better, but I'm still only making as much as you do.
Right.
So that whole frame of mind, trading time for money from a very young age, just never made sense to me at all. So I started very young in that way of thinking.
What was some of the challenges? Because, I've started multiple businesses myself. They don't always go as planned. We have this big dream and we leave out the bad stuff in it every time. I still do it to the day. But like, what were some of the challenges that, you had to really climb through to get to where you are?
I'll tell you, and the challenges that I dealt with as a very, very young man in this business, was not so much the insurance companies or homeowners or business owners. It was the subcontractors and employees, because here I was 18, 19, 20 years old telling 50, 45, 50-year-old men what to do, how to do it. And no, I'm not going to accept that kind of work. You're going to have to do it at a better rate, and you're going to have to do a better quality. And that's hard for a 45, 50-year-old man to take from an extremely young man.
Right.
So that was difficult, and it stayed difficult until I got up, 30-ish, and then it got a lot easier. Early on, though, that was the hill to climb.
Once you got some gray hairs, it became real easy. That's why I'm welcoming my gray hair. Travis, you're project manager. You're on the side dealing with the guys. What are the day-to-day stuff that you're using to keep your guys motivated? Because sometimes coming to work sucks, and you get on a roof in Texas when it's 110, 120 degrees outside, it really sucks. So.
Well, we try and keep it more motivated and fun in a way to where it's kind of exciting. I guess it's not so boring and mundane. So especially on the hotter days, we'll always bring out coolers. We'll bring drinks. We'll grab some Chick-fil-A. It's a fan favorite across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
We love Chick-fil-A. So try and do something to kind of keep it more motivated and exciting, if you will. Now the work itself, it's work. It's hard work. It takes some time. It takes a little bit of knowledge to do it, but they like doing it. They enjoy it. So we try and remind them that we appreciate them. Here's some, cold water, stuff like that, and keep doing what you're doing.
That goes a long ways, letting you guys know they care for sure, and especially when they're showing up doing the hard stuff. They sometimes look down and see you in the AC,
and the way that we pay our guys is a very strong motivator to overcome the hot days. Is they're paid by the shingle that they put on. So if you don't want to work during the heat of the day and you'd rather work early in the morning and then late in the evening, to whatever extreme the homeowners allow you to work to, they're not going to want you there at 12 o'clock midnight beating on their roof, but they'll do that. And really the motivation is the pay scale is as far as that goes, is they get paid by what they do, just like we do. So during the hotter days and some of the harder jobs, then the amount that we pay goes up, especially on some of the tougher roofs. They can a lot of times double, as much as double or more what they make on just regular roofs.
right? Because of pitch and
how difficult it is.
Multi-story.
Yeah, and so
you guys you started the company. Now it's a family business. Taylor and Zane, you both own the company. You were serving our country,
Right.
when these guys got together here in the Navy. So thank you for your service, sir. What's it like having your dad as a partner?
I get that question a lot. No, it's great actually. I mean, the wealth of knowledge. Anytime I've got a question on something, and I'm just as stubborn or as any other son, but it's great having a family business where I can, if you have a roadblock or something I haven't figured out yet, he's already been there.
Right.
Just ask.
There's the other side of the office, though. Your wife's running the office.
My wife is.
It might be easy to deal with your dad.
That's a whole different animal.
How do you navigate through that?
No, it's again, I'll say it's great having her there. She's got her back. You know, it's having somebody that's there in the office and taking care of financials and helping in any way that they can. And somebody that you can trust wholeheartedly that's got your back 110%.
Yeah, building a business is hard. Building a business with your family is harder. But when you're out in the field trying to do things and you can't trust the people are making the right decisions in the office, makes it even harder. So I've always envied the people that can navigate family businesses and do it well, because they've learned something that a lot of people have overlooked. So if you guys do residential and commercial, do you prefer one over the other?
Yes.
Easy answer.
We appreciate any work that we get,
Mhm.
but the fact is profit margins are higher and commercial work. That's all there is to it.
Makes sense.
You have more liability, so bigger risk, bigger pay, and it's a lot more professional when you're dealing with a corporation than dealing with maybe someone right down the street. Emotions
That's what I was
get
thinking.
into the way, with people that are just homeowners. And when you're dealing with commercial, there's no emotions. It's just what's in the contract. You complete your contract, you get paid.
Right.
So a lot easier, to get there. A lot more difficult to navigate, and a lot more difficult to obtain the commercial work. You have to take many steps to get there, and it's even harder now than it was whenever I was coming up, because now in order to even buy a lot of the materials that you need to use to put on a commercial roof, you have to be certified by the manufacturer in order to even buy it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of steps that you have to jump through, but all in all, yeah, that's my favorite work has always been commercial work.
When Travis got here, we were visiting before you guys got here, and he asked part of the reason why I did this, and I said that there's a lot of really bad companies
Mm-hmm.
There is.
that are out doing jobs, and I can walk you through and show you some of that work.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the companies that weren't scared of their reputation and were proud of the things they were doing were going to come to the top and volunteer to do this. And my goal was, if we could save somebody the headache in Weatherford, Broad, community, Aledo, that we'd done something to give back to the community. Right away, Travis said he was interested. So, what are some of the things that you guys really thrive on to keep your residential clients happy? Because, this is their home. It's a lot of people. It's their biggest asset, maybe even their only asset.
Whenever communicating.
Yeah, communication. And honestly, and it may sound cheesy, but whenever I start with a new customer, I just treat them like they're my family. Always have. And it's, just communication, honest, integrity, quality of work. Just treat them like they're your aunt or your uncle, or just treat them like they're your family. And things go smoothly. Communicate and just do what you say you're going to do. Be there when you say you're going to be there. It's really not that complicated. It's just it seems like it's a stigma with contractors these days. So many people have been done wrong, and so many people have been burned. It's a constant uphill struggle to gain somebody's trust.
Right.
It's as simple as being just conscious of their situation, because while you guys are up there on that roof, let's say that they're throwing the shingles down instead of laying the shingles down as they're loading them onto the roof. Well, throwing a bundle of shingles, it sounds like thunder going off inside the home. So shifting small things like that, where you have your guys place the shingles onto the roof instead of throwing them on the roof, so it doesn't make so much noise. Another thing is keep trash picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Keep nails off their yard. And that's the last thing we want, is some small child coming out there and stepping on a nail, and it'd be our fault. And we will not put up with nails being left in the yard. So we run magnets a lot, but just small things that you would want done for you.
I was one of those kids that stepped on a nail. We had somebody build a deck at my house when I was a kid, and I ended up getting tetanus from it.
Wow.
So I can relate to that for sure. And I do have small kids now. I've got 4 of them running around. So we were really anal on when we got our roof done, having everybody come and pick it up. What are some of the things, like, if, roofing in Texas, it's a big business. What's some advice you might want to give to somebody young getting into the sport so they can, save themselves a little bit of grief?
Learn the insurance business. Learn what insurance expects you to perform like as a contractor. Learn the way in which that you communicate back and forth, because there's a vocabulary. If you're speaking about banking, there's a vocabulary for banking. If you're speaking of investing, there's a vocabulary that you need for investing. When you're communicating back and forth with these insurance companies, there's a vocabulary that you need to learn for that. And learning that stuff and then putting it to work for yourself, whenever the insurance companies deal with you, they see you as somebody that knows what they're doing, and you get a lot less pushback. Because there's roofing companies that would very much trust us to go out, take pictures, send them the pictures, and actually adjust the job almost completely for them. Because we built a reputation of, we don't turn in things that are not legit. Then they're not going to catch us saying that we're doing something on a job and then wind up not doing it. Uh, about every 7th claim gets gone through by the insurance companies, and they audit it. So one big piece of advice is never ever claim that you're doing work that you didn't do. Don't have that as one of your line items, saying that you've done something that you didn't do. They will put you in jail for it. They will prosecute you for it. They'll make an example of you. That's been brought on, and it's been earned by the lesser contractors who have no morals and who have made those mistakes. And I've actually been there and been hired as expert witness for several different law firms in the DFW area to go to mediation and then to full-on court to take some of these bigger roofer companies down for doing that. They make it a part of as far as the bottom line of their business, it's actually kind of unwritten, but written into the way that they make their money. And they'll get away with it for a while, but eventually they will get audited, and it will come to light. When they do, guys like me will be sitting there putting a job together and using the knowledge that they've gained through the years to be able to prove whether you were within the law or without the law, as far as the way that you done the roof. And that would be a bad place for a young man to find himself. It's just too much better. Just keep your integrity.
It's hard to find somebody that can shake your hand and do what they say they're going to do anymore.
It is.
And when I moved to Brock, I first moved to Oklahoma, or moved from Oklahoma when I moved down to Texas. So I'm building network, and that's part of the advantage of doing these events, is that I get to talk to other business owners and learn what they've done in Weatherford and community to grow their business. Because ultimately, that's what I want to do. And the more people I get to talk to and find out how they did right in this community, the quicker I can grow the next business that I want to do. And that's part of my selfishness. As much value as I want to bring people that get to listen to the podcast and the community to find good people to work with, and hopefully find you guys some new customers to work with as well. I want to learn, and that's my selfishness, is learning how to build businesses here in Texas, in the heart of it, especially one that's lasted 42 years. If anybody wanted to get a hold of you, get a quote, find out about a new project or an insurance project, what's the best way to go about doing that?
Well, we got our website, it's mustangrfg.com. We've got all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, we got it all.
So are you the dancer on TikTok?
Well, I don't like to dance. I tried. Can't do it today. Just wouldn't get to that. But they can reach out. Our phone number, 817-873-2398. Or they can get on our website and book an appointment through there. We respond usually within the hour. It's through the website.
Okay.
That's pretty fast.
And we'll make sure to put those that information in the comments on YouTube and wherever this is going to flow at. You'll be able to find it on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So we will put that in the comment descriptions. Anything else that you'd like to say, maybe to some of your past customers? Oh, one other thing. What areas do you guys service?
Texas mostly.
Yeah, Texas mostly.
We do not do business in the Houston or San Antonio areas, but other than that, pretty much the rest of Texas.
Covered all.
Yeah.
And then, you
And
know,
I'd like to also bring up the fact that we do a lot of construction.
okay.
Yeah.
Walk us through
A
that.
lot of commercial construction. We built hotels down to little small add-ons. We're steeped in the construction business. I actually started the construction business first, and then ended up in the roofing business, and then joined the two, and have always had a roofing business since very young age. But at the same time, we've used that as avenues to take in order to go and get into the commercial business like we was talking about earlier, and build homes, build retail centers, hotels, just whatever.
And is all that information on your website as well?
Sure.
Do you guys, so you'll do residential homes,
Yes.
custom builds,
Yes.
roofing, and renovations?
Yes.
Okay. Well, make sure to put that all in the description.
Good deal.
And is there anything else you guys would like to add before we say goodbye?
I'd like to say one thing that I wanted to mention on the topic earlier about why it's important to have a contractor that you can trust on site during an inspection. I ran into something about a month ago. Homeowner called me after the inspection was already done. They said the adjuster's already been here. We've already filed the claim, and this was the result. And I got the report, and it was minimal. He was a little upset, so I started asking some more questions about how the inspection went. Usually we like to be there. It didn't go down this way, but he called me after the fact. He told me that during the inspection, the insurance company had their homeowner get on the roof and do the report for them. So what I'd like to tell people out there, if you have an inspection done, your adjuster's on site, their job is to do the inspection on the property for you. You should never get on the roof and do it for them. So if that happens, those are reasons why someone like us or the valid roofing company should be there for you on your behalf. Those types of situations can happen. They do happen, but I wanted to at least bring to the limelight that type of thing exists. And those are the reasons why we try and stress to have someone like us or another roofing company there to represent you, to prevent things like that from happening.
And something we just had last week, and this goes back to, you don't always want to just take whatever the insurance company gives you. We were called to go out and look at a residence that had had a tornado hit it. And it had blown the entire metal roof completely off the house, blew the front porch and the back porch off the home. Completely ruined their carport, and this is a big carport. It is 25 by 32, I believe. It's a big carport. Ruined it, ruined a bunch of the fence line, and the insurance adjuster came and wrote them a check for $33,000. And when we got through writing the scope for the insurance company, I believe we were at 170.
And I was going to say,
177. Yeah. So it's just another example is the insurance companies. And I know that, somebody may say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. It's not. I've been in court and I've seen behind the curtain, so to speak. They count on you thinking that you can't do anything about it. They count on that because most people, just like the couple that we signed and are now handling their claim, they thought that that's all they were going to have to deal with. They didn't realize that what the insurance companies do is they'll come out and they'll just give you a starting place. They'll come up with an amount that is just a starting place, and everything else is handled through supplementals. But if you don't have a contractor who knows what a supplemental is, how to file for a supplemental, and how to prove that it needs supplemental money in order to be done and get completed correctly, then you are indeed stuck with that check that the insurance company gave you. So, because they're not going to know how to fight the insurance company. The first thing that they would do would be to call an attorney. You don't have to do that. If you get an attorney, they're going to take 40% of whatever they get for you, and going to leave you with about what you started out with. So,
well, I know
it's a lot easier to go through guys like us.
this roof was replaced about 3 months after it was done on this building that we're in right and we ran it through insurance. They still owe me $9,000. The reason I didn't get it is because, and I didn't know this, and they didn't request them. Outside, there is 2 layers to this. The roof drops down.
Uh-huh.
Well, we put that roof back up before we took pictures.
Uh-huh.
So they don't want to pay the last $9,000 because there's no pictures to confirm that part of the roof is in place. So I do know that they will try and.
Oh, yes. They're in the business of making money. And they can't make, they're not just going to offer it to you. You're going to have to go get it. And people think that they're just going to come out. They're just going to do the honorable thing and just write you a check for what is owed. And it's just simply not the case. They will not do that. They are always going to leave something out. Always. And in the case like tornado, some of the bigger claims, they literally don't know enough about construction, and I'm talking about the adjusters. They don't know enough about the construction business and how to build stuff to actually be able to go in there and know what all needs to be fixed. It takes somebody that actually knows building to do that. So they just come up with some silly number to get it off their desk, and they count on the fact that most customers will just take the check, put their money with it, and do the job and go on down the road. So that's what the insurance companies count on it, and most people do it unless they have somebody that's got their side of the table.
Well, I know that after going back and forth for that, $9,000 is a lot of money. I'm not going to say it's not, but I put enough time in there to earn $9,000 15 times. I was about over it. So they still got their $9,000 and I moved on.
Sure.
If I would have called you guys right off the hop, I would have got my money. So Zane, Taylor, Travis, thank you guys for jumping on this, being our first guests, and hopefully we get you some calls for putting this out there.
We appreciate it. Thanks for
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.